Tunde's phone nearly slipped from his hand. The voice on the other end was calm. Too calm. "We have your wife and your brother." His heartbeat stopped instantly. "What? 50 million naira, or you'll never see them again." The line went dead. For a few seconds, Tunde simply stared at the phone in silence. Then panic exploded inside the house. The children started crying. Family members rushed over. Police were called quietly. And somewhere out there, his wife and younger brother had disappeared without a trace. But the kidnapping was only the beginning. Because over the next few days, secrets would surface, emotions would spiral out of control, and nothing inside this family would ever remain the same again. So if you enjoy emotional stories filled with suspense and shocking twists, make sure you watch till the very end, because this story takes a turn nobody sees coming. It had all started 4 days earlier. Back then, rain was just rain, nothing important. Tunde stood inside the kitchen scrolling through his phone, while Amaka packed lunchboxes for the kids. "Did Favor forget her sweater again?" he asked. "Yes." That was it. No smile, no teasing, no real conversation. Just two exhausted people surviving inside the same house. 6 years of marriage had slowly turned into routine. Wake up, work, bills, children, sleep, repeat. Sometimes entire days passed without either of them truly looking at each other. That evening, the silence was interrupted by the sound of luggage wheels rolling across the floor. Then a voice shouted excitedly, "Hope nobody forgot I'm the favorite child." Amaka looked up immediately. "Kunle!" Tunde finally smiled properly for the first time that day, as his younger brother walked into the house, grinning widely. "Big bro!" The brothers hugged tightly. Then Kunle turned dramatically toward Amaka. "Sister-in-law, why are you aging backwards?" Amaka laughed. A real laugh. Tunde noticed it instantly. "You've entered my house and started nonsense already." Kunle shrugged proudly. "It's a gift." The children came running immediately. "Uncle Kunle!" Within minutes, the entire house felt different. Louder, warmer, alive. That night, nobody disappeared into separate rooms like usual. Kunle forced everyone to eat together. Halfway through dinner, he looked around the table suspiciously. "You people live like tenants." Tunde laughed weakly. Amaka looked down quietly, because deep down, she knew he was right. Over the next few days, Kunle blended into the family naturally. Too naturally. He fixed broken shelves, played football with the children, dragged Tunde outside for late-night beer. And somehow, he noticed things nobody else noticed. One afternoon, while helping Amaka carry groceries inside, he paused. "You okay?" "I'm fine." "You sure?" "Yes." Kunle looked at her carefully. "You look exhausted all the time." Amaka forced a smile. "That's motherhood." "No," he said softly. "That's loneliness." The words hit her harder than she expected, because nobody had noticed. Not even her husband. Especially not her husband. That night she lay beside Tunde, staring at the ceiling fan turning slowly above them. "Tunde? Are you happy?" "With what?" "With us." Tunde sighed tiredly without looking away from his phone. "Why are you asking strange questions by this time of night?" Her face fell immediately. "Forget it." 5 minutes later, he was asleep. Amaka quietly turned away and wiped tears from her face in silence. 3 days later, everything spiraled out of control. The children closed early from school because of a staff meeting. Amaka grabbed her handbag quickly. "I need to go." Kunle picked up the car keys immediately. "I'll drive you." "You don't need to." I know. Tunde looked up from his laptop. Please go with him. Traffic is terrible. Those were the last normal words any of them would say. The road was unusually empty. Kunle tapped the steering wheel while soft music played quietly. You used to smile more, he said suddenly. Amaka stared outside. You sound like an old motivational speaker. I'm serious. She didn't answer. Then suddenly, screech! A rusty pickup truck swerved violently in front of them. Kunle slammed the brakes. What the hell? Before he could finish, armed men rushed out of nearby bushes. One smashed the passenger window instantly. Amaka screamed. Another yanked Kunle's door open aggressively. Come out! Take the car! Kunle shouted quickly. Please! A gunshot exploded into the air. Shut up! Within seconds, both of them were dragged into the back of the pickup truck. Blindfolded, hands tied painfully behind them. Amaka started hyperventilating immediately. Kunle tried calming her down. Breathe, breathe. A rifle slammed into his ribs. I said keep quiet. The journey felt endless. Hours later, they were thrown inside a small wooden hut deep in the forest. Their blindfolds came off. Amaka looked around frantically. Trees everywhere, mud floor. Two armed men standing outside. One kidnapper pointed his rifle directly at them. You cooperate, you live. Back in Abuja, panic consumed the house. The children cried non-stop, phones unreachable, police involved quietly. Then the ransom call came. 50 million naira. Tunde nearly collapsed. I don't have that kind of money. Then prepare their graves. The line went dead. For 2 days, negotiations continued. Family members gathered. Everyone prayed. But inside the forest, something dangerous was happening. At night, Amaka trembled violently from fear and cold. Kunle stayed awake beside her. You'll see your children again. What if we die here? We won't. How do you know? Because I won't let anything happen to you. And somehow, she believed him. The kidnappers became more aggressive each day. One night, one of them dragged Amaka outside roughly. Kunle stood instantly. Leave her alone! The kidnapper struck him across the face with a rifle. Blood spilled from Kunle's mouth immediately. Amaka screamed. Please, stop! The kidnapper laughed. You love this woman? Kunle stayed silent. The man smiled slowly. That's what I thought. That night changed everything. Later, while rain poured heavily outside, Amaka cleaned blood from Kunle's face carefully. You shouldn't have done that. I couldn't just sit there. Why? Kunle looked at her for a long moment, then quietly said, Because you matter. The silence afterward became dangerous, very dangerous. Back in the city, Tunde was falling apart. He stopped sleeping, stopped eating properly. One night, his friend Musa grabbed him angrily. You need to think straight. How? My wife is missing. And your brother, too. Tunde slammed his fist against the wall. I should have gone with him. Meanwhile, inside the forest, heavy rain became their opportunity. The kidnappers got drunk. One forgot to secure the back entrance properly. Kunle noticed immediately. He leaned closer. Amaka. She looked at him. We're leaving. Her eyes widened. Now? Now. They slipped into the darkness silently. Then, hey! Gunshots exploded behind them. Run! Branches tore against their skin as they sprinted blindly through the forest. Amaka stumbled hard. Kunle dragged her back up instantly. Keep moving! Gunshots echoed again. Closer this time. They ran until their lungs burned, ran until their legs nearly gave out. Finally, they collapsed beneath massive trees, soaked completely by rain. Amaka suddenly started laughing hysterically. Kunle stared at her. Then he laughed too, not because anything was funny, but because terror had broken something inside both of them. Morning came with brutal reality. No phones, no food, no idea where they were, just endless forest. The next 2 days nearly destroyed them. They drank dirty stream water, ate random fruits, walked endlessly. At one point, Amaka completely broke down. "I can't do this anymore." Kunle sat beside her quietly. "You can. I miss my children. I know." "No, you don't." "Yes," he whispered. "I do." For the first time, he told her about the woman who left him years earlier. She said I'd never become anything. Amaka looked at him differently after that. Not as Tunde's younger brother, but as a man carrying hidden pain. That night beneath the stars, they talked for hours, real conversations, the kind neither of them had experienced in years. Amaka confessed everything, how invisible she felt, how lonely marriage had become, how she cried secretly in bathrooms so nobody would notice. Kunle listened silently. No interruptions, no judgment, just understanding. And that became the most dangerous thing of all. On the fourth night, emotional exhaustion finally crossed the line. Amaka stared into the darkness quietly. "I thought my husband would notice I was disappearing." Kunle answered softly. "He should have." She looked at him. He looked away first, because both of them already understood what was happening. "This is wrong," she whispered. "I know. But why does it feel—" She couldn't finish. Kunle moved closer carefully, like a man approaching fire. Then Amaka kissed him. The moment it happened, both froze instantly. Reality crashed down immediately. Amaka pulled away. "Oh, God." Kunle stood up quickly. "We shouldn't have done that." But it was too late. Something had already changed between them forever. The next morning was painfully awkward. No eye contact, no real conversation. Yet somehow the tension became even stronger. Then finally, they heard an engine nearby. Both jumped up instantly. "Did you hear that?" They ran toward the sound, screaming desperately. A delivery truck appeared on a dirt road. The driver nearly crashed after seeing two filthy strangers burst out of the forest. Hours later, they were home. But home no longer felt safe. When Tunde hugged Amaka at the hospital, he broke down crying. "I thought you died." Amaka hugged him back tightly. But inside, something felt wrong. Kunle avoided looking at either of them completely. For days, everyone celebrated the miracle. Family members prayed, neighbors visited, church members rejoiced. Everyone praised Kunle for protecting his brother's wife. But underneath the celebration, guilt quietly grew. Then Tunde started noticing things. The silence whenever Kunle and Amaka entered the same room, the awkward eye contact, the tension. One evening he walked into the kitchen unexpectedly and froze. They weren't touching, but they stood too close, far too close. That night he confronted Amaka immediately. "Did something happen in that forest?" Her heartbeat exploded. "No." You hesitated. "I'm tired." "No," Tunde said quietly. "You're hiding something." Over the next few days, suspicion consumed him. Until finally, he confronted Kunle outside near the gate. "You slept with my wife?" Kunle froze. That silence answered everything. Tunde's face slowly hardened. "You actually did. It wasn't like that. How was it then?" Kunle ran both hands across his face. "We thought we were going to die." "And that gave you permission to betray me?" "No!" Kunle snapped angrily. You abandoned her long before we got kidnapped. The words landed like a punch. You stopped seeing her. She was lonely and you didn't even notice. Tunde punched him instantly. The brothers crashed violently against the gate. Amaka rushed outside, screaming, "Stop!" Neighbors turned on lights immediately. Tunde pointed at both of them with trembling hands. "Get out." His voice cracked. "Both of you." The house never recovered after that. The children sensed the tension immediately. Nobody laughed anymore. Nobody ate together anymore. 1 week later, Kunle packed quietly. Before leaving, he met Amaka outside one final time. Neither spoke for a while. Then she whispered, "What happens now?" Kunle looked at her carefully, the woman he could never truly have. "If I stay, I destroy everything." Tears filled her eyes. "And if you leave?" His expression broke slightly. "I only destroy myself." Then he walked away. And this time, he never looked back. Months passed. The marriage survived, technically. But survival is not healing. Sometimes Tunde stared at his wife, wondering if she still loved his brother. Sometimes Amaka woke up remembering the forest, remembering the version of herself that finally felt seen again. And somewhere far away, Kunle carried the weight of a love born from fear, loneliness, and survival. A love that should never have existed, but did anyway. Because sometimes, the most dangerous thing isn't kidnapping. It isn't violence. It isn't betrayal. Sometimes, the most dangerous thing is being truly understood by the wrong person. And if this story shocked you, don't forget to like, share, and comment below. Tell me honestly, do you think Amaka truly betrayed her husband? Or was the marriage already broken long before the kidnapping happened?